keeping with hip hop a bit. Let me go back home. Let me talk about Heat 6 Heat. This would be the latest album from, a fellow rapper of ours. This would be Micwise, representing San Fernando, your hometown, Ricardo. Well, your current hometown, sorry. Of the representing Southside lifestyle. We have reviewed his previous project. That would be Leave a couple of years back. We loved it, you know what I mean? And this is like actually the first time we reviewed a project of his, right? Over the past couple of years, I actually collabed with him and his good friend Doe Boi, you know what I mean? With our best of the decade hip hop albums reviews, basically for Waz D Scene. So I did that. And this year, actually, I think this is around, Ash Wednesday to be precise, he put out the mixtape Micwise Mad, which is just him just basically rapping over classic 90s hip-hop instrumentals. And we dug the hell out of that as well. But, we knew that something big was going to happen as well, too, as far as his output goes. We knew that there was something that he had waiting for us, right? And this pretty much would be this album here, Heat 6-8. So basically what we're going to do is just like a quick track-by-track review of the album, right?
Sure.
So context time. So essentially what the album is, or the significance of the title, this would be a reference to, the phone code basically for Trinidad, that would be 868, right?
Yeah.
So he just kind of flipped it, Heat 6 Heat. But it's not in some kind of sly way. It's just really to just kind of laying it out one time what the album is about. And essentially it's just him going deep and dark into, just the dark side of Trinidad and Tobago. Just the stuff that we know about, we complain about we hear people complain about on the news or, radio shows and whatnot. But they never really hear music artists in particular, really talk about these things, with the exception of, say, Clipsonians over the years or whatnot, but you never really hear it of this. Right, and Freetown Collective, shout out to Freetown. Where you never really hear it in this level, right? So I was excited as hell for this. I actually remember at a point in time, he kind of put it out, okay, when should this album be released? And I say, hey, put it out August 31st, right? Put it out for Independence Day. But in his case, he is going to put this out, Tuesday the 25th. So imagine when you guys hear this, it will be, Tuesday the 25th, right? But fortunate for us, because we know the guy, he kind of gave us an exclusive listen to it. And, we're just going to run through it track by track, right? So, Ricardo, you checked it out, of course, right?
I have. To do a quick quote of a former professor of ours. Oh, my God!
Yeah.
My God! This is nothing short of fucking amazing. Like, woo!
We kind of sell we sell here, folks.
Here's the thing, eh? Look, up front, kind of biased. I work with the man, big fan of the dude. He's a cool guy.
You filmed a couple of videos for him. You helped out with the album cover for Leave, by the way.
But the thing is, before I work with him, I heard his material and was blown away anyway. So I don't think the bias matter. Here's how I'll put it. And I just kind of parroted Just Chase here. I kind of skimmed through Nas' new album, but I listened to Micwise album on full, 3 times in a row.
Funny thing is, I still haven't listened to King's Disease as yet. I'm actually going to make an effort to check it out this week. But I tell myself here's what. No, let me focus on this album here because we had to talk about this, right? So, Nas,
and it's not like, look, it's not like Nas' album bad or anything like that, but like...
No, I hear great things about it, but still, it's like, Heat 6-8 though, I mean...
Yeah, but
Nas can wait.
The morally story is support locals, right?
Thank you.
This is nothing short of goddamn amazing, right? Like, wow! I was like blown away. Every goddamn track, right? Anyway, let's give it a run.
Right. So moving quick, right? So this album is split into 2 halves, right? So we have the dry season, we have the rainy season, right? So it's 5 tracks each, right?
Yeah.
So we're kicking things off with Twins, and I love just how the album, it kind of kicks off the album with this gorgeous violin sample, right? It sounds lovely and cinematic and whatnot, right? and then you hear a boom bap bass line in it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
mention boom bap a lot in this.
Yeah.
And then on the hook, you just hear this beautiful sax solo, right? Just talk about the instrumental here for a bit. And then, like, all right, you're digging the beat and whatnot.
Right.
And
And
near
then
the end, though, it
you hit me a
just
little,
switches.
you hit me a little Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah, it just switches into this grimy,
Yeah.
dark, minimalist kind of beat. I'm like,
Yeah. No,
oh,
it's
okay, this is
it's a
where we
real
at.
it's a
This is
real
where we at.
it's a real Freddie Gibbs what do you call it by a bandana. Was he track on bandana?
Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh
Switch up
gosh.
one time. That crime is shit.
No,
It's my half man, half king.
yeah,
Half
yeah,
man, half
half man, half cocaine. Yes,
right.
right. That's a perfect
Yeah.
reference there, though.
Right.
Especially
Yeah.
that
Nice.
second half that I love. I
Yeah.
love that second half.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean. As I mentioned, the album kicks off. Mike doesn't waste any time. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like second one, he jumps in, right? And basically on this, he just kind of goes in. He just leaves out the mission statement, what the album is about, right? So he talks about politics. He talks about just the crime and just all the dark stuff in the society, and how we all think that, you know, just by voting it away, you know what I mean, it will all go away, right? I love where he says, you rather see unity than badness, but sold out for them campaign theatrics and anti-blackness. You and every actor and actress comfy on your mattress, dash a fire on your motorcade, rolling on the roads you pave, your own supporters holding stream. In 2020, your blindness is how you divide us. It's us versus them. Time to rise up. And that's where the beat kind of switches then. It's like, oh, jeez, right? And overall, what I love about this song here and the album as a whole, though, it's just brutally honest. Right? It's just uncompromising. It's not kind of painting anything. You know what I mean? It's not making anything any glossy or clean. It's just dirty and grimy and just filthy. You know what I mean? But not in a way like he's glorifying it, though. It's just, this is how it is. This is the system that we're in. It's broken, and you know what I mean. We will always complain about it, but there's no real effort made to actually fix it now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Everything is just straight up. He covers pretty much like a wide gamut of material. So just general injustices, class consciousness, hypocrisy in politics. Like, you know, and we've seen this before. It's not new. Everybody does it. Pretty much any cartoon rapper does it. But as I said, you haven't heard anybody, at least in hip hop, local hip hop, do it at this level, right? And Micwise is it's not new to Micwise either, right? You know.
No. Yeah.
You know, he himself have a lot of great songs. Like I still think one of probably his greatest track ever is a Visa. You know, it's a big part is that. It's all of these tracks, right? He have his material, but the entire album focuses on that in all kind of several topics on almost every material across the gamut, and it's just so good in that way. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. So next track we have is Slap. This is the second single of the album, and this has one of my favorite beats on it, mainly because it's boom bap. You know what I mean? I just love just the design of a boom bap beat. So every time I hear it, I know it's that. It's dark as fuck. It's just that screw your face thing. It's just that doom doom doom. Yeah, when you hear that, it is. I dare you not to nod your head to this shit. Right? I dare you not, right? And I just love how lyrically, right, on the intro where Mike kind of sums up his thematic approach to the album, where he says, "The ugly truth is what I portray vividly. Y'all say misery is my forte. Admittedly, I just dig deep. This ain't no store-based swim for me. Food for thought. I serve it the raw way, fittingly." And that's what it is. That's what it is. And essentially, slap isn't what Mike is doing to the listener, even though every time you hear slap, you just kind of feel like, he just literally coming and slapping you over the face. Like, no, you hear what I just say? You hear what realist is? Boom. You know what I mean? I love how he says, you know, even though there's decision being made in Parliament, there's no real significant change, right? So this is where he says, like the grinding instrumental, they beating the tables, these fake slobs, subs, they feed it with fables. I love how he calls out even, broken systems of education and religion, where he says, slap is pregnant at 13, no knowledge of safe sex, because they don't teach that in her religious school. They try to pray the lust away by preaching the Bible. That's where the concept of common sense needs a revival. It's like, dude, that's how deep he's going into it. So, next track we have is Colors. And Colors, right? That's Collars.
Yeah, this is my personal favorite track on the album.
Nice. So if you're old school hip hop head, you should quickly pick up on the hook, right? Because
Yeah.
it's basically his take on the classic Ice-T song "Colors," right? That
Right. Right. Yeah.
colors,
Yeah. Yeah.
colors,
Yeah.
colors, right? And yeah, that song is classic. That song is grimy as hell, right? And I like just a little bit of self awareness. He kind of pronounces colors the same way how we would pronounce the word COLORS, right? You know,
Right.
if we think in American way, right?
Right.
Um, and I love where he kind of kicks the track off with a quote so powerful. You probably forget it came from Mr. Robot. Maybe it came from elsewhere, but I just remember it
Right.
from Mr. Robot. Give a man a gun and he could rob a bank. Give a man
Right.
a bank and he could rob the world, right?
Right.
And I like where he kind of switches the gangbanger perspective of IC's song, because if you
Right.
remember IC's song, he just kind of talk about, yeah, I'm a gangbanger. This is what I do. You don't like that, cool, right? Whatever it is, right? But here he talking about how the fear of being robbed or killed or otherwise is kind of use of a system of control by people who have power, right? So that'll be like the government or the police. So the real bad guys, according to them, are just the gang members, the men who
Yeah.
go around doing what they're doing. But it's really the people who kind of running things, who kind of have those folks on puppets, who not giving them opportunities to do something productive with their lives. Those are the ones that kind of instill in this fear in us, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's a very, very, very dense track. Is one that you really had to listen to more than once. He
Yeah.
just goes in so deep. There's so much
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on here. And
Yeah.
beat is dope as hell. I love that.
Yeah. This is the real class conscious one because it's playing on color, skin color, but it also
Yeah.
does the colors as in white color, blue color, right?
Oh, right. That's a good point. I was thinking more of sleeve colors, basically, right? But that's
Oh
actually a
yeah,
great
well,
point. I didn't think of it of
that probably
white
true,
and
but he
blue
make
color. That's
right, yeah, because all
yo,
of that.
okay.
Yeah, he talk about he has a great line with green, with his go for green, with using which color go for green, as into for the drug trade and all of that stuff. Now that typical
Yes.
who are allowed to sell drugs, who not, who's get trouble for drugs. That whole class consciousness of that covers that
Yeah.
really really well. Yeah,
I did think about it from that though. You see this
yeah,
this is how dense shit is. You know what I mean? Anyway.
yeah. The man will sit down with a drug.
Yes. That's it. He sit down with it. He sit
Yeah,
down with it, right? Next track we have is Terminal. A
right,
dog, the dramatic kind of true crime documentary beat fit. The intro was a nice touch with these I assume British
yeah,
women call it trailer the best place ever. You know what I mean?
right,
Um, I love how in the first verse Mike juxtaposes the steel pan,
right,
both the instrument as one of the reasons why tourists should come to Trinidad to check out our
right,
carnival. And of course, the song Iron Love from Nyla Blackman with
right.
iron or steel, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Firearms, guns, that kind of stuff, right?
yeah,
And I like where basically he's just seeing that, yeah, there's a dark side to this paradise here. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what the tourists don't see until
Right,
they, they are robbed or whatnot.
right.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
And
you
then
just
after
talk
the
about
hook, no,
yeah,
what?
like classic example is yeah, perfect examples are people who have no clue that esports Spain is a thing. Like
Oh,
you
yeah,
could
yeah,
just
yeah, I know.
you'll be just right there in Hyatt, and you will not where it's structured and situated. You don't get, and it's literally like what 4 or 5 blocks to get to
Yeah.
esports Spain,
Mm-hmm.
and you will have no clue that esports Spain is a thing, and that is like such a stark contrast. In terms of thing, and he's covered that yeah, because you keep talking about you have to try the doubles and try the food, and there's all these great clips I'm sure you get from I don't know where you get from
Yeah,
YouTube or whatever.
you need to try the roti.
Right,
I,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
and the
love
double,
that. I love that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then, well, after the hook, the beat switches to a darker, more grimy one.
right,
It sounds literally kind of shit a hardcore hip hop artist would spit tales of like
right,
robbing people with like
yeah,
like this kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, I mean, run them jewels, man. They have that kind of
yeah,
vibe to it. But here, Mike basically uses the urgency of that beat to do exactly what what he said he was going to do in the first verse.
right,
Shine a light on this darkness, right?
right,
So he talks about how tourists could lose their money legally or illegally. Sorry, citizens being swindled out
right,
their money. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
so much stuff, right? I love
right, yeah,
just a
yeah,
great song as a whole.
yeah. He covers kind of the local tourist trap stuff that Trinidad have. Yeah, it have a lot of that. Yeah, in Trinidad.
Yes.
Yeah, especially around Carnival time.
Right.
Yeah,
Next track we have is God is a Trini. This is one of
right.
my all-time favorite
This
tracks
is
on this.
right. This is my second favorite track on the album. This is a
Right.
bona fide hit. This is a
It
bona fide.
is. It is. It
Yeah.
is. If you're a hip hop head, you'll notice the "No I Lay Me Down to Sleep" bedtime prayer. You remember that
Right.
from Snoop Dogg's "Murder Was a Key" song, right? But
Right.
here, Mike raps about a question, and we all kind of bring up, especially when it comes to violence and death. Where's God in all of this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love where in the first verse he says, "If God came down, He would meet us devastated. It's a Rubik's cube because it's colors that keep us separated."
Right.
I like that as being a
Great line.
reference
Yeah.
to the previous
There's
track
a
colors, right?
there's a Jay-Z line in there somewhere. I think. I don't know if it's this track itself. Uh. Oh gosh. I should have right.
I think I know what you're talking about. In the
Yeah.
first verse, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Um,
I should write down the lyrics, but yeah, there's a
yeah,
Jay-Z line somewhere in there. Yeah.
right. The hook for this is one of the best I've heard in
Yes.
2020. Bar none.
Yep.
They
Yep.
say God is a Trinity, we ain't need to pray. I guess heaven is a place on earth, and when God come back, He touching pour the spin first.
Yeah.
The
Great line. Great.
irony in that is
Great.
so bitter,
Yeah.
so brutal.
Yeah.
Like I don't even need to explain what that means. So, but it just kind of sums up our mindset. We just love to think that everything is gonna be okay, man. We're just gonna blow it over, and
Yeah.
eventually you move on to hit the beach and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's some stuff that needs a lot of addressing, right? In the second verse, though, he does a little storytelling. Talks about this young man who succeeds
Right.
at a
Yeah.
job interview. But when he
Yeah. Great
heads
story.
back
Yeah.
home, yeah,
Your
his
little
younger
brother.
brother
Yeah.
gets killed by the cops.
Yeah.
It's like, yo.
Yeah.
Um, and I would imagine for some people they might find that to be kind of out of place or just kind of weak thematically. But
Right.
I just love the fact that it's just like an all too familiar scenario where it's like you
Yeah.
just think everything is fine, but you don't know what could happen. You could literally come home and see this happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That just shows how common it is. The last verse basically is him addressing men of the cloth who appear to be all
Right.
righteous and holy, but they're doing
Right.
all
Right.
kind of
Right. Yeah. You
shady
talk
stuff,
about.
right?
Yeah. You talk about.
Um,
I don't know if the story true, but you talk about the school he was in.
Yes.
Right.
I would be surprised if it is true.
Right.
I love how it end of that verse where he's like, well, because a friend of his actually sees on the news, oh, it's this guy from movies
Right.
from church, and then he
Yeah.
says, well, I don't have to say it. You could speculate what he was up to.
Right. Right.
Like
Yeah.
you
Great.
don't need to say it beyond that.
Yeah.
Last thing last, I really dug the beat for this. It's moody. You hear a
Yeah.
little slight little organ in the background, and yeah, it's just a moody track that I just love. I
Yeah.
love this song. All right, so now we get to the rainy season. And
Right.
here, interestingly, this is where we sort of hear more guest
Right.
performers on it, right? So the first one we hear here within track number 6, Defend, this would be Revelation, right? First time I'm hearing
Right.
of him, right? And
Right.
he has a solid verse to it. Ready
Yeah.
to defend my own, ready to defend
Yeah.
my own. I love that,
Yeah.
right? And essentially, what he's rapping about here is, well, how the next generation is just thrown into a world that's imperfect and impure, but it's
Yeah.
because of the generation before it, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
because there's no positive role models, this kind of wind up being exploited or manipulated by those same adults, right? Like
Right.
a line that really stuck out to me, a phrase where he says, Lolitas who become whores." Like,
Yeah.
jeez, like think about that for a sec,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the sad part is like they have to just figure things out for themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love how Revelations hook kind of just sums up the mindset of somebody who just sees violence as a way of life. It's just like, you know what I mean? Anybody who get in the way will get killed, right? But I like where he says, well, everybody has the right to choose their own destiny, but he's willing to go all in to get the things that he want because yeah, no one left shit for him. You know what I mean? I love that. I thought it was great having a dance or slash reggae artist show up as well too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
just to add a little, Caribbeanness to the vibe as well. I
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
dug that. So yeah, love this track. Any thoughts on the fan?
No. Yeah. I love this track too. There's another one, another banger for me. Again, I just take a good walk with this album, Judd, and I find myself, here up, man. I reach home. Album been done. I say, watch now, I'm gonna take a next quick lap just to finish this properly done.
I can relate. I can relate to that.
Like
Yeah.
I listened to it home. I decided to walk with it to see how I'm feeling about it. It's one of the few examples where where I forget I walking. I track so hard now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's fire right through. Fire
Right.
right through. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get to another favorite of mine. We're gonna get to this.
Ah, yes. Gabriella. So
Yes. Right. So
during
Micwise
what
basically Micwise basically write a Tarantino short film for we right here.
I know, right? And this
Yeah.
is what I was about to say.
Yeah.
When we did our best hip hop albums of the year collab, I remember he said, "Well, Pulp Fiction is his favorite movie,
Right.
right?" It's
Yep.
like, yeah, when I hear any story, it's like, yeah, I get
Yeah.
in the Tarantino vibe because
Yeah.
essentially it's a non-linear story.
Yeah.
It's very neo-noirish. Like when you think about it,
Yeah.
it has this noir feel to it,
Yeah.
but it centers on three
Two people.
characters.
Right.
Yeah, that would be Eric, Gabriella, and
Tron.
yeah, well, four characters: Eric, Gabriella, Tron,
Tron. Isabel.
and Isabella. So four
Right.
characters, right? And it centered, well, this not to spoil anything, because the beauty of this song is how it reveals itself while it plays,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It involves people being killed and
Right.
revenge killings, basically.
Right.
But what it's really touching on is, well, it's something that you don't hear a lot, but it exists here. That would be, well, the prostitution trade, basically. You know what I mean? With Venezuelan women
Right.
coming in and
Right.
being exploited to do stuff like that, right?
Right.
Um,
Which was a big deal in the news the other day. About this girl.
yes.
And yeah. Go ahead.
Right. Well, what Dog do was, well, you know how we mentioned beat changes before. This has
Yes.
two beat changes in
Hard.
it.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Every part of
Um,
different.
and the first two, what Dog about the first two? It has this like laid back 90s hip hop sound to it, but
Right.
it's darker. Don't get me wrong, it's darker, but it has this kind of laid back feel to it. And then the last beat, which is my favorite, has these chopped up vocals though, and
Yes.
it's
Yes.
very very soulful. And
And
that's
how
when
about right.
when it hits you, it's like, oh, now
Yes.
you see the sadness of it all. But like the
Right.
first
Yeah.
two parts is
And,
just kind of sleazy and oh, like all
right.
this stuff going on. But then when that last story hits, it's like, oh,
Yeah. Hard. Real
wow,
hard.
yeah,
This a hard track. This I think you had to sit down and film because you can just straight up make a short film out of this one. Like
yeah,
just
yeah,
all three
yeah,
parts,
yeah.
5 minutes each. Have Micwise rapping, just have Micwise rapping and telling the story throughout it. This the hard one. This real
It is, it is. I mean, like I know I
fantastic.
know Mike has done narrative driven stories before, but yeah, he
Yeah.
outdid himself
This
with this one.
yes,
Oh
Drew.
my god.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
one is impressive. This one is really impressive.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So three more tracks to go, right? So we have
Yeah.
Sirens. This is the first single of the album. This
Right.
features Bass Bones, if I got the name wrong.
Right.
No, it's Bass Bones, right? Yeah, Bass Bones, right?
Yeah,
I was gonna
it's
say Bass Bones. Who says Bass Bones,
nice.
right? And
Right.
of course, Ragasoka icon himself, General Grant.
General
Like when I
Grant.
saw him
Right. So when I heard
in
this,
there, like what? Oh,
yeah,
how?
Jared.
How? You
I was
know
watching.
someone? You know
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
who
I was watching.
knows him?
Yeah, I was watching 'cause I was watching this fella show and then it dies when it premiere on this boy show now. Shit,
Or
the radio show.
oh, okay.
Uh
That would be Chromatics
Sorry,
radio
yeah,
show.
chromatic show. Yeah, on the radio show, and he was like when he say featuring General Grant, what? And I was like, what? And it's like, yeah, that had me hype. But when I heard that this was that he was on the album, I was like, wow, this album shaping up to be amazing though. Like I knew he was coming some harder, but like
Yeah,
not this hard though.
yeah.
like
And
like yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and sorry about that. And I like when I was tagged on the lyric video first by Mike himself. I made, I think it was the first comment to the video, and this was just me quoting General Grant's hook where he says,
Yeah,
before me reach the scene, I get it on my phone. Before the police and the siren get it on the phone." That stood out to me. Well, that line, I mean,
yeah,
the song itself blew my mind, right? But this line in particular stuck with me, Jed, because if you know shows like Beyond the Tape and Crime Watch, you know how
yeah,
easy it is that people will just share videos that have
yeah,
like shocking violence, Jed. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Over WhatsApp and whatnot, and it's only when
yeah,
the police are aware of it, like in Beyond the Tape, ironically, that's when they're like, oh, well, now we have to investigate. You know what I mean? So
right,
that was just like, wow, that's just so real, you know what I mean? But here, this is another story-based track, right? Where Mike hears gunshots and he suspects that a neighbor of his who lives a few houses down, something
right,
happened there. And
right. So
it's just
we get
revealed. And we don't want to see what happens, but all I'll say is Bass Bones starts off the song with intro, right?
right,
When the reveal happens and you hear the intro play again,
yeah.
it's like,
Uh,
oh,
and then
oh,
we get a little guest star from
jeez.
we got a little guest star from Joe Black on this as well.
Yes. As
Yeah,
as a as a neighbor.
yeah,
Yeah. That was a great moment. That was a great moment. But
yeah,
yeah, that moment is a gut punch though. My God,
Yeah.
it's
Um,
chilling, it's
yeah.
powerful, unforgettable track. I love this. Two more tracks to go. So we
Yeah.
have Protecting. This features
Yes.
John Squared, right? This is easily the
Yeah.
most depressing track of this, but
Yeah.
yeah, the beat for this is melancholy. It has this piano-driven beat, right?
Yeah.
I love how Mike starts rapping over the piano keys because they plug in there, but how he just kind of starts off the verse already, dog, right?
Yeah.
And dude, this is probably one of the most powerful tracks I've ever heard from him because
Yeah.
yeah, he pays tribute to the late Akil Chambers, right? For
Yeah.
those who don't know, he was 11 years old at because what happened back in '98, he went to a
Yeah.
friend's birthday party, and for some reason he just disappeared, and everybody wanted to know what happened. There's actually a great moment where Mike says the adults put down the black label, like they don't realize, oh,
Right.
that's what going on. So they had to drop their festivities to look for him, and he would that was just a great moment. Just like, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just rock, knock down a few glasses of alcohol and not even know that something bad has happened, right?
Yeah.
And it's only the following day that they found him in a swimming pool dead, right? And
Right.
they reveal later on that he was sexually assaulted by a man. He was smothered to death before his body was thrown into the pool.
Right.
Or if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, I think the man is still alive and free, and the case
Right.
itself, if I'm not mistaken, again, is closed. And for me personally, it's one of those things that you kind of forget happen because you
Yeah.
just hear so much about crime over the years now. But every time you see Akil Chambers, it just kind of takes you back to how big a deal that was, though. And still to this day, it's just like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Between him and yeah, the other story is him and Sean Luke. That's the two you remember, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Um.
Yeah, forgot
Yeah.
about him too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could hear the pain, or more anger really than pain, in Mike's voice when he's rapping. He's more rapping from the
Yeah.
perspective of, if you had lived, you know what I mean, you would have been able to see these things. You would have been able to live life there, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
your life was just taken so soon and for no reason, Dread.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I want to say though, John Square's soulful vocals on this really
Yeah.
adds to the sad tone of this song. So yeah, I love this track. Last but not least, Tropical Depression by
Right.
and here's the
This
thing,
sudden this catch me off guard because I didn't think
it,
he would have go here.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
This to me, it reminds me a lot of this being all hip hop nerdy here. Rico and Rainy Days, because it
Right. Right.
has this rain in the background,
Right. Yeah.
and it's just how cinematic it all feels, right? But here, essentially, I like the beat itself. It has this kind of chill vibe to it, but at the same time, it kind of haunting at the same time, especially when you hear the rain in the background and how jazzy it is. You hear some female vocals in the background, and it adds the haunting feel, right? So taking a page from Busta Rhymes' playbook, this is a compliment, right? So Mike ends the track off basically talking about death. But in this case, he starts the first verse rapping from the perspective of death, right? And how
Right.
everyone, regardless of what your social status is, how old you are, whatnot, will face him, right? Well, in this
Right.
case, it's him, right? Um, uh, this is the mere fact that this track shows up right after Protecting is like, wow,
Yeah.
this is the bleakness we go in here with this cheese, right? I love why he spits in the first verse. Parents just don't understand. You were seeing Prince. The Lord can never help because I've been praying since. Your
Yeah.
child was old enough to understand sadness. Doctors misdiagnosed. They don't understand my madness.
Yeah.
And I like how he was just able to just connect the themes he was addressing early on, right?
Right.
Early on in the album. So he says, third favorite victims is teens because it gets deadly fast, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about
Yeah.
gang
So
warfare, murder, all that stuff.
right, and you get into yeah, it's just and it was surprisingly because it's very very introspective, very conscientious because you get into something that very few people talk about in especially in Trinidad and the black community, depression, right?
Yeah,
Actual
yeah, yeah.
depression, dealing with
Mhm.
that, diagnoses, Prozac or whatever it is, people might be taking for that. And he gets into that aspect of it. It was like, yeah, this is gonna be a thing that's gonna be a issue for the new generation. It's I think what is the third most killer for young people in the world or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
or something. Or I think the
More,
number
more
one
than
killer
likely,
amongst
that's for all we know.
yeah, I think the number one killer for the thing is basically like things like suicide ideation and these kind of things, right?
Right.
But I'm really glad that he addressed this. It's shocking that he did it. I did not expect this on this album, Dread. I was like,
Same here,
wow, you
same.
actually went there, Dread. It's like
Yeah.
wood, well
So
wood.
he
Yeah,
also says second favorite undoubtedly be the wealthy class. They get the least sympathy. It's mad funny because people think you're safe from me once you have money. And it's like, wow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Pressure.
then
Yeah.
right, and then you have this chilling ass hook, and then in the second verse, you hear, well, Mike from the perspective of someone who is about to commit suicide, right? And
Right.
here he's just kind of rapping like basically this is like the last moments of his life, right? So he's just
Yeah.
facing everything: his depression, himself, his beliefs, the walls he constructed around him, the other walls surrounding him due to his like vices and sins and whatnot. And then he just has no other option. He just ends it with a bullet to the head, and
Yeah.
that's it. And then I was like, okay, you hit the hook again, all right. And then the track just decides to end with the where you just hearing rain fall
Yeah.
and thunder, and it just stops.
Yeah.
And I'm like blown away though, like the first time I
Yeah.
hear it. And then with the more listens I give it, because yeah, just like you, I gave it a few more listens just to get into final thoughts and review here. I was like, this is nothing short of a masterpiece here, Dread.
Yeah. Listen,
And
I
yeah,
as I say,
interrupt, go on.
no, yeah. What to borrow from our former lecture was, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Um, I was just so goddamn blown away by this. Mike, you didn't have to go this hard, though.
I
God,
know,
yeah,
I know, but
yeah, but he did. But
he
he did.
did. But
But
I
he did.
felt personally, that's just bring it back to me, right? I felt like he just had to do because
Yeah,
from
Joe.
just the little post that he put up on Facebook, I got the sense that just paraphrasing, yeah, these were things that were just on his mind that just
Yeah,
kind of just scratched. There was just itches that he just couldn't, that he just tried to
you're right.
scratch, but he couldn't go away now. He just had to put
Yeah,
it down on wax, basically, right? And you could sense it, boy. I mean,
yeah,
from start to end, it's just this bleak, uncompromising, gut punching vision, though, and something that you don't really hear from, well,
yeah,
from Trinidad and Tobago, because we always like to give this impression that it's all happy and joy and
yeah, yeah,
sunshine and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, we know better, right? But
yeah.
that's why you'll hear a majority of our music during Carnival, right? Just think
Right.
about that. But yeah, just to talk about that briefly. I don't want to stay too long on it because I don't want to do a whole ramble about this, right? Um, I know there are gonna be some Trinis that are gonna listen to this and
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna think that, oh, it's just dark for the sake of being dark. Like why are you just drudging up all these bad things, man? Like this is not progressive and all that kind of stuff. To me, this is what hip hop. This is an element. This is part of hip hop. This is what it is. I mean, if you listen to stuff like Jesus Liquid Swords or
Right.
Mob Deep's The Infamous, like I was thinking of those two in particular, because yeah,
Right.
those are just bleak, uncompromising visions of yeah, this is the reality we live in. That's what we get here. I applaud the bravery that
Yeah.
the balls basically that Mike had just to put this out. I know this wasn't easy. I know he was sitting on this for a while, Jordan, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that he took the time to really craft this. And not
Yeah.
just the beats that he chose, but just lyrically, just every line just has something about it, right? And staying focused on this vision without saying no, I did dial it back because people want that, people want to enjoy themselves and have fun when they hear rap music,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Especially for Trilla. It's like no, this is not where I'm going at, boy. This is what I want to be at. This is what I want to be as real as I possibly could get, and
Yeah.
that's why I got here. So I know we're gonna have some people that will just dismiss this from the word go because like no, we don't want to hear that, it's too much and whatnot. But I see, if you're still curious, I say give it a listen, right?
Yeah.
But if you're the type that just wants things to be all clean and glossy, this is not it. It's dirty, it's messy. Well,
Yeah.
not messy in terms of construction, but messy in terms of yeah, this is what we had to clean up, right? And it just sticks to that, and I love that. I literally have not heard, I should say, an album from Trinidad and Tobago that went in so hard, right,
Right.
and stuck
Yeah.
to its subject matter so heavily, right, and just
Yeah.
kind of make it come out of it feeling dirty, feeling cold, feel you know
Yeah.
depressed, basically, right? And that's exactly what he went for. I know that for sure. The beats that he chose for this worked for the most part lyrically. This is Micwise at his best, Dread, and I know. And I don't want him to think that okay, this is my big one, so I don't need to do anything else after this. Though I know he has great albums after this, right? But yeah,
Yeah,
this
man.
is one where it's like this is a bona fide classic here.
Yeah,
Um,
Joe.
the guest features come true, do their thing.
Yeah.
subject matter, you can relate to this, even if you're not from Trinidad, right, or Tobago.
Yeah.
You can relate to this in some way, shape, or form. And last thing, and then I'll shut up. Right, I want to say before I get to read it, is that I hope that more people, especially here in Trinidad, listen to this and not just
Yeah.
dismiss it as, oh, it's just dark because he just trying to copy what Americans doing. No, 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 no. It's dark because this is a reality that we try to hide from ourselves and from other people, especially from people who are not even from Trinidad. It's
Right.
just him kind of going into that darkness and just pulling out what he could find, basically, and yeah, just crafting a great album out of this.
Yeah.
So I gave this. I had to think about this rating. I didn't want to, be like, oh well, it's great because I just love every single song in this. But I love every single song in this. I love the message of each and every song of this. And yeah, I could just go back to this over and over and over and hear something and just keen something new of it. And emotionally, and this is where this album really got to me. It really hit me on an emotional level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going high for this one, man. 5 out of 5. Listen to this before you die. I give it this high
Crazy.
right here. So right
Guys, think
now, folks, this is top 3. Because right now I have
this had
Run
to
the
get 10
Jewels
out of 10
4.
from me, Dread.
I have Red
Right.
Jules 4. I have Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist Alfredo. Those are my
Yeah.
top 2 right now, Trey. But this one here, Heat
It's up
68, this is a strong contender for album of the year, Trey. So, folks, if you are a hip hop head, listen
Yes,
to
Dread.
this. If you support local, quote unquote, listen to
Yes,
this.
Dread.
Don't dismiss it and say, "Oh, but I don't like this. It's dark and it's scary." No, listen to it. Listen to the message. Get what he's trying to say here. And if you come out of it changed, you know what I mean, or come out of it kind of really thinking about where we are as a society, then yeah, the album did its job. So I can't recommend this album any further. 5 out of
Yeah.
5.
I did not expect this to be so goddamn amazing, Dread. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, this
What?
man that we know, Dread, this man
You
have
know,
it in him to make this masterpiece, Dread. What?
this level of heat, boy.
Yeah.
This lava, this Yamamoto getting side blade here, boy.
That's
Man
Pompeii,
hit me
Dread. This is Pompeii.
man hit me Ryujin. Man release Ryujin Jack on we here, boy. 10 out of 10.
Boy. Yeah.
10 out of 10.
That
10
was
out
waiting
of
for. I
10.
was waiting for that 10 out of 10, man. Yes,
10
yes,
out of
yes.
10. I just cannot believe this was so goddamn good, Dread. Like it's it on a listen, it on heavy rotation right now for me.
Same here.
Just like a copy, and it's just a couple of tracks that are just getting hit right through for me. Track 3, track 5, track 6, track 7. Like them,
Yeah.
especially those.
Gabriella alone, bro.
Right.
Like,
Especially those
dude.
those just have me, just playing it right through. But yeah, I expected to be good. But I was like, I didn't expect this. Like, goddamn. Yeah. Loved it. Absolutely loved it, dog. Mike boy.
So,
Yeah, boy.
yeah. Mike, though, you knock it out the park, Dread. So,
Yeah, for real.
dude, keep up the great music, Dread. Southside lifestyle. Keep
Yeah,
up
bro.
the great music, Dread. You know what I mean? Shout out to Doe Boi and Profess and Joe
Right,
Black
Joe
and
Black,
Micwise,
right,
of course. And just repeat to myself again. If you really support local, Dread, you have to give this album a listen, Dread.
For real.
Folks, the bar has been set. Local music
Yes,
bar has been set, Dread.
yes.
And I'm not talking about, seasonal music like, Carnival and Christmas or whatnot. I'm talking about general Trinbagonian music. The bar has been set, folks.
Yes.
So yes, all the artists are there to step all the game up, Dread. Because yeah, Heat 68, that definitely raised that bar. So yeah, not much more I could say. Absolute listen, one of the best albums of 2020, bar none. Give this a listen.
Yeah.